This is Regin's Travels podcast. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Regin's Travels podcast. My name is Regin Reyno, and today we have a very special guest. She is a travel and wellness blogger. She is Maria Rona Beltran. She's a full-time virtual assistant as well to Earth Breeze, a sustainable brand operating in Canada, USA, and UK. She manages the ambassador, influencer, and affiliate program of this brand. She lives in Manila for the past 2 decades, but last September 2020, her two sisters, including her dog, packed their bags, rented a van for a 13-hour land travel to temporarily move back to their home province in Sorsogon to escape COVID-19. Eating plant-based diet opened a whole new world to her. Since then, she discovered many ingredients, herbs, spices, seeds, nuts, and even names of food she didn't know existed. For her, eating food coming from nature is an act of self-love. It's also one of the pillars of having a happier and healthier life, backed by science, which she is trying to achieve more. Her first blog post was 12 years ago, but never really treated blogging as her full-time career. What she's thankful about blogging is it became an avenue to meet lots of friends who share the same passion about travel, and of course, being able to create a lifestyle that is not tied to a particular office location or work schedule. She plans to travel around the Philippines, also worldwide, if a miracle happens, that taking a trip with a pet is as easy as walking in the park with her dog Ollie, to explore wellness destinations, yoga retreats, deepen her meditation practices, and most of all, eat in every restaurant that serves plant-based food. Ultimately, she wants to build a wooden house with a farm to hopefully grow her own food and also co-own an animal rescue community. It's my pleasure for you to be here in the podcast. Rona, welcome, and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you too. It's also my first time.
Yeah, how are you doing there in Sorsogon?
It's great. Like I said, we escaped COVID-19, but you know what? Our town has COVID-19 cases already. But it's less stress, less stress. There's no traffic and all that stuff. So, and I'm with my family, so it's better.
Yeah, I think it's
More
always
relaxing.
better to be in the province than to be in a crowded city. So I think that is a good move of yours.
Yeah, but I feel like I want to go back anytime soon because I've been eating Filipino food since September, and I want to eat different cuisines so bad. Of course, plant-based. Because when I was in Manila, my boyfriend back then is an American expat. Like we would eat in restaurants every single night, different cuisines, different foods, and I miss that so bad. That's the only thing that I miss in going back to Manila. Food, different kinds of food.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that because I think that's one of the advantages in living in a big city or a mega city is the availability of these shops, restaurants. For example, in your case, you've mentioned going to different kinds of restaurants just to be able to try or experience different international cuisine.
Yeah.
And I can totally relate because when I was living in Beijing, that's what I did. Every weekend, I would make it a point to eat at different restaurants that serve different international cuisine like Vietnamese, Thai,
Yeah.
Mediterranean. So that's one of the advantages of living in a city. So I can totally relate and I can understand.
Yeah. So right now, it's like I've been eating Filipino food since September. My
Right.
God. Even the nearest city, which
Mm-hmm.
is an hour away in Sorsogon City, there's not a lot of restaurants to choose from. So imagine. But other than that, I'm good here. I'm not
Yeah.
missing the traffic in Manila.
Right. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's that's what I realized as well. I'm living here in the province now after living in mega cities for years, like Bangkok and Beijing, and I've realized that
Uh-huh.
there are advantages and disadvantages
Uh-huh.
in everything.
Oh, where are you based now?
I'm in Bukidnon. I'm in here
Oh,
in
wow.
the city or a small city of Valencia
Okay.
in Bukidnon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've explored several provinces in Mindanao before. I used to do mystery shopping with Cebu Pacific.
Oh.
I would disguise as a passenger, and then
Mm-hmm.
I would rate how the trip went, the flight, the stewardess, if they're doing the what do you call that? I forgot. So
The
I
dances
I
on the plane? Are you talking about the dances or something?
yeah, the demonstration, if they're doing it good.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
something
there
like
you
that.
go.
That was 6 or 7 years ago, but I managed to visit 7 or 8 provinces because of that. It's mystery shopping,
Oh,
something.
great,
But
great.
yeah,
That's one of the good things about that kind of job is you're able to get to travel and explore different places, and it's part of your work, so you get paid as well, right?
yeah,
Great.
right.
All right, so I've seen your blog, and it's so interesting because you not just blog about travel in general, but specifically what caught me the most is your blog entries about plant-based diet, and not only that, is about having a sustainable travel and having targeting wellness destinations, and but more importantly, the plant-based diet really interests me because I myself, I'm as much as possible, I am practicing vegetarianism. So
Mm-hmm.
when I saw your blog, I was like, wow, this travel blogger not just travels and just present the location, but it has a specific target. So it
Yeah.
was really good. And I've checked your Instagram account as well, and you've posted a lot of different interesting vegan or plant-based cuisine. So that was really interesting. When did this start? You becoming a vegan or having a plant-based diet, and why?
Okay. Before that, let me differentiate what a vegan is, what a vegetarian is, and what a plant-based is, so that we are on the same page. Okay. I'm not an expert with this, but I'll give you a brief background. A vegan is someone who fights for animal rights. Like they believe that all animals should not be consumed as human food and they should die a natural death. Right? They do not eat animals because of that. Only second. It's not only for health reasons. For health reasons, it's only second or third, but it's more of animal compassion. So
Oh,
those
okay.
are vegans. Vegetarians, they don't eat meat. However, they consume animal byproducts, unlike vegans. No, they they consume honey, dairy, milk,
Dairy,
dairy, cheese, and all that. So I would
eggs.
say that, yeah. So I would say vegetarians are those who do not eat meat because of health, health, for promoting health. Now, plant-based is this is a term that just that became popular recently. Okay, and I think that this is attainable for most of us. That you know, we do not have a set of routine or the freedom of time to be strictly vegan or vegetarian. Plant-based is also the same. They do not eat and all that, but it's like 98%, 95%. Like what I mean. There's like 3% or 2% or something. For example, if you're just starting and then like me, I live with my family who are omnivores. They cook, I work. So if they're cooking tinola, I would eat the chunks of papaya and then some sili leaves. I would eat that and maybe taste a little bit of the soup. If they're cooking adobo, chicken adobo, I would put some sauce on my rice. But definitely, I'm not eating chicken. I'm not eating beef. I'm not eating pork. And then on gulay, right? Like here in Bicol, we love cooking our veggies with ginataang coconut, with coconut milk. They would always sprinkle a little bit of shrimp and smoked fish. And they're totally, they're mixed in very small pieces. Like you would not even able to, remove them. So I eat them, you know. So that's plant based for me. And then on occasions that, oh my God, I don't have something to eat, I would eat 1 teaspoon of dairy of, what's that, egg or something like that. But it's not no more than 1 teaspoon. Right? Okay, that's it. So now we know the vegan, vegetarian, and plant based, right?
Mm.
Let's go to how did I start it. I can trace it back to 2019. It came to a point that I was checking how do I make myself better? What avenue in my life I can change? Because I think that I was taking care to other people, but I'm not taking care of myself. I was giving a lot to other people. And I'm giving less to myself. And I think it's time for me to, start caring for myself as well, whatever needed stuff for my spirit, for my body, and all that stuff. And I was thinking, where do I start? What to do? What specific thing? And then I realized that I'm not. I mean, I'm only eating for survival purposes. Whatever that's in here, whatever that's cheap, of course, whatever that's available, that's the one that I eat. I won't do extra efforts to have balanced diet or healthy diet. And I said I have to change this because I'm not getting any younger as well. And then I've also realized that you know eating is a way of self love, a way of self care, and eating is also happiness. Because before, whatever that's in there, whatever's the cheapest, okay, I'll eat it just to be full, just. But we're not getting any younger anymore. We have to nourish our body. We have to nourish our minds and all that. So that's the start, and then it's gradual. It's not like overnight. Oh, okay, I'm gonna ditch eating chicken. I will not eat pork. It's not like that. It was gradual. 2019, I would like eat less, and I was living with my boyfriend back then, now ex. We would eat American food, so it's like he loves um steak so much. We would eat steak, mashed potato, wine, and blanched broccoli or whatever. I would secretly like eat less of the baked what's that steak, and then I'll give it to my dog. He does not know about it, and I would. It's gradual, and then in the coming months, I would um, eat more veggies. It's like it's gradual, and then until I was able to successfully remove all the meat part. And then everyone was saying, Rana, you're so thin. Why the heck are you on plant-based diet? What will you lose? You have nothing to lose. I said, why is plant-based diet, is vegan or vegetarian diet only for those who want to lose weight? It's not. My reason is I'm not sure, but we go to nature like to relax, right? How much more if you eat whatever that's coming from nature, right? So I think that's for me, and I feel good. I feel lighter. I feel like, and maybe because I was brainwashed, but it's like you know what you're eating is that fish, the chicken. It was once a living creature, right? And then and you guys know that I'm a dog mom, right? And I love my dog so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel like I cannot just love my dog and then not do the same to a chicken, to a to a, to a pig. It's not their, fish. They're also animals, right? So
Mm.
something like that. But I respect everyone's opinion. It's just me, you know. And one The only negative thing about eating on plant-based diet is you have to eat a lot because they are thinking when you're on plant-based diet you only eat greens, right? Of
Hmm.
course, I don't just eat gulay. It's boring. You'd have to eat um, seeds. You should have variety of seeds and a lot, right? Yun. So it's gradual. It took a year, and then by June of 2020, it's 100% plant-based now.
Wow. You've mentioned that having a plant based diet is self love, and I totally agree. There are lots of research about the benefit of having a plant based diet to longevity, to health, to wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, yeah, I totally agree with what you've said about the benefits of it. That's why I myself I'm always trying to stay vegetarian, although I love eggs and I consume dairy once in a while as well. But as much as
Oh,
possible, I
that's for
also
yeah, that's good for vegetarians.
yeah.
That is good.
So as much as possible, I also, although I still struggle, once in a while, especially when traveling. When traveling, there are not a lot of options. Sometimes it depending on the place, and sometimes out of curiosity, you want to experience the cuisine of other countries. So sometimes I still struggle. So I'm still not 100% vegetarian, but I do believe in a plant-based diet and the effect of it to your body and to your longevity. And you've mentioned that
Mm-hmm.
you don't just eat greens, and I know because I've seen your posts on your Instagram account and
Mm-hmm.
also your
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and of course your blog, and you've posted a lot of wonderful wonderful food preparation, these different kinds of cuisine. I'm not even sure from which countries they originate, but they look great and they look healthy. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that you're not having a boring diet.
Yeah. Never have a boring diet. Because, like I said, when I went on plant based, I discovered a whole new world of ingredients. You know, like oh my god, I'm already this age, and then I didn't know that there's like this. So, cheese is coming from dairy, right? There's
Hmm.
actually nutritional yeast, you know, and for egg, there's this black salt and all that stuff, right? Although here in Manila, oh, I mean here in Manila, here in Bicol, I have limited supply. I have limited supply. Unlike when I was in Makati, I have like glass jars full of seeds and nuts. I think you've seen that on Instagram. It's so
Hmm.
beautiful, right? So when I wake up, it's like, oh my god! And then I always look forward to lunch, to my breakfast, to my lunch, to my dinner. What will I eat? What will I, what will I prepare, right? And right now, shifting to plant-based diet is very easy. Like in Manila, I just can't wait to go back because there are lots of restaurants who are offering plant-based diet, right? And that's actually one of the reasons why I want to go back. So it's never an excuse right now to be on plant-based diet, right? So not for health benefits, but also for sustainability as well.
And it's interesting you differentiated the the main differences between vegan and plant-based, because sometimes a lot of people use it interchangeably, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that there's a specific reason depending on
Yeah.
depending on the word that they use. Like you've mentioned, vegan is the main reason is protecting the animals, and then the health reason is kind of like
Yeah.
secondary or third reason. I didn't know that before, so it's interesting that you've mentioned
Only
that.
the media is portraying that vegans is for food. It's not. They're the ones who fight. They're the ones who like
Mhm.
go there in the streets, like do a rally and all that. But not all of them. There are
Mhm.
silent vegans. But no, I'm talking about the typical
Mhm.
vegan. Yeah.
Right. And when was the year again when you started having a plant-based diet? When was that year again?
100% or the gradual.
No, the
I mean,
gradual transition.
2019.
2019,
2019.
right? So it's
Yeah.
been what, 3 years, right?
2019 to 2000, whole of 2019, I'm still like eating less
Mm.
of meat. So I'm
Right.
still, you know, but
Mm.
end of 2019 to 2021, it's like 98%, 99%. But like I said, I mean, I'm in a household of omnivores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I, I would like I said, if it's tinola, I would scoop out you know,
The
the
vegetable part.
silly, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So, and you've mentioned that the effect on you is really significant, like that you're feeling right now. Can you
Yeah.
differentiate like how
Um,
different it is? Is it really significantly different from when you were
mhm.
not a plant-based diet?
Because I also do meditation, right? So when you do
Mm-hmm.
meditation, it helps a lot to be on plant-based diet because I've researched that this is according to yogis, spiritual teachers, and even practitioners of meditation. They reach uh, the experience of meditation is better. They reach the ideal meditative state faster or easier when you're on plant-based diet. But I think it all boils down to your belief, no?
Mm-hmm.
Kasi I wa- I wa- I am with friends who are really talking about the the talking about the yucky part of the chicken and the eggs and all that stuff. I think it also is also part of the belief,
Mm-hmm.
right? Did I answer your question? Your question?
Yeah, 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 totally. Like you've mentioned meditation and you've mentioned like yogis. I've noticed a lot of major religions also it encourages, maybe not really demanding in a way, but encourages a vegetarian diet. Like I've been to India
Yeah.
and a lot of them are vegetarians there, and Hinduism is the main religion. And even in Thailand, like there are there are some Buddhists who encourages people to be vegetarian, and some Christian denominations as well. So yeah, I understand when you've mentioned that it has an effect on your mind in achieving that meditative state or in connecting with a higher being.
Right. Yeah. I've also spent 15 days in Thailand as well, but at that time, I'm not on plant-based diet, but
Mm-hmm.
I've met yogis and monks who are also on vegetarian diet at that time. I said, how can I do that? I mean, I can't do that at that time. It takes, I think, before you conquer your palate, because we're used to eating lechon, right? We're used to eating chicken, fried chicken. It tastes like heaven, right?
Mm.
You'll have to conquer your belief first. It should, and when you conquer your belief, your taste will follow what you're thinking.
Mhm.
That's how I do it. And I make sure, even though, for example, when my family's gonna cook fried chicken, I try not to give in because when I try to just pinch a bit, it will all. I think I can, go back to
Yeah,
eating again. So it's
like
all
you.
about what do you call that? It's all about control. It's all about control talaga.
I think control. Yeah, and you've mentioned like when you taste chicken, then I think you're gonna relapse, into that mode
Mm.
of enjoying the taste. And I
Mm.
think mindset plays a vital role
Yeah,
in in
mindset.
in, in
Yeah.
controlling like mindset. Like this is good for me. This is delicious, something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
any major influence in that move of yours,
What do you mean?
in
That
in
I
your move
shifted
from
to.
being a non-plant based, having a non-plant based diet into transforming into a person who is having a
Mm,
plant-based diet, like any major influences, maybe a person or a documentary.
actually, they were asking me if I have close friends or close family who tried. There's none. I
Mm-hmm.
was, I just, I just wanted some. I just decided one day that what, in what way in I can change something in my life that I think I can be much better. I think that I will be happier, you know. And I've been researching. Especially during the pandemic. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing anything. I was in this beautiful condo in BGC, overlooking a golf course, and my boyfriend has this very big um, kitchen. Like those that you can see from celebrity home. I said, what am I gonna do? There's a very beautiful home here with a beautiful kitchen. What will I do with this? I wanna cook, right? And then what will I cook? I want something different, so plant based. And one of the researches that I got so interested about is plant food, or food that is coming from plants have high vibration. And scientific studies show that plants have high frequency. And if you have high frequency, if you take in plants, you have high frequency, and it's so hard to explain, but you feel happier, you feel, you know, healthier. Basta I'm not really an expert to that, but everything is energy, and every plant gives you high vibe. They can even measure the how many hertz is that. A dead person is like zero. When you are cold, it's like when you have cold or you have trangkaso, you have your frequency is like 5 or 10. And then when you eat green leafy food is like 65 or something. And then your body's frequency will also rise to 60 or 50.
So you're now you're not into plant-based diet, and your conviction is very strong about that. You don't want to relapse. You don't want to go back to your old diet, which is
No.
meat and a lot of stuff that is not clean, or not eating clean.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, you travel a lot. You're also a travel blogger. You travel a lot. One of the challenges of being a traveler, or in traveling or having a vacation, is maintaining a plant-based diet. Obviously, you're not in the comfort of your home. You don't have the availability of food that you choose, or your kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you maintain a plant-based diet when traveling? And can you
Okay.
give some tips to our listeners as well?
Mm-hmm. You know what? That's actually one of the things that I really look forward because I love to discover food. First, I mean, in other countries, it's not, for example, especially major cities, it's not enough. It's not a problem. They have a variety of food when I went to Taiwan. Even if you do not go to a vegan restaurant, even a simple Taiwanese restaurant, they have this menu, right? So you have to do research. You have to do research talaga. Like, I'm going to this place. Where is this vegan restaurant here? Where are the plant-based restaurants here? Because you know what? Even locals do not even know. Like, hi, do you know do you know a vegan restaurant? Huh? What is a vegan restaurant? Locals don't know about it. A lot of them, they do not know about it. You have to rely from the internet, right? So yeah, the research, okay. And then if ever you did not, there are really no, there are no vegan or vegetarian restaurants. You go to a typical restaurant, and then you ask for the menu, and then you ask, what food do you serve that do not have meat? More often than not, there is one or two on the menu that do not have meat, or fish or whatever. So that's what I do. Call this like here, because because of COVID, I haven't been, but I went to for last year Boracay, Iloilo, and here among here.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask. So, for example, if it's a local restaurant, chop suey is always there. I mean, okay, better than nothing, right? But sometimes they have minced pork. So you ask, can you please remove the minced pork? For cafes, they always have this aglio olio, pasta, carbonara. You can just ask them to remove the ham and then replace it with mushroom. So that's what I do. You know, or if another option, because when I moved from Manila to here, I know there are not a lot of choices. I brought my glass jars with all my nuts, like almond, pistachio, whatever nuts, seeds, and all that stuff. I brought everything in. That's why the van that we rented is like 1/4 of that are my 1/4 of the belongings. Actually, I did not brought a lot of dress because I know I can buy here. I brought my, what do you call that? My glass jars full of my,
Not seeds.
yeah, nuts
Yeah.
and seeds and all that. And I realized when I'm here, I don't need those. I have pili, there's cashew nut, no, there is calabasa, there's watermelon, and it's more sustainable than buying almond. Like almonds are coming from another country. It's not sustainable as well. We have to, you know, promote our own, use our own food.
You've
So yeah,
mentioned,
research.
yeah, yeah, research is very important. I agree. And you've mentioned a while ago traveling to other countries is it's you have more freedom or you have more choices in terms of having a vegetarian meal compared to traveling in the Philippines. You've mentioned Taiwan,
Mhm.
for example.
Except here in
Uh-huh.
the Philippines, except of course Manila, there are a lot. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Palawan, I've heard. I've been to Palawan many times,
Mm.
but that was when I was eating the same thing before. So I'd love to go back and explore Palawan as a plant-based eater.
In general, because when I was living in Thailand, I have vegetarian friends
Mm-hmm.
from the UK,
Uh-huh.
and they visited he visited the Philippines, and one of his
Mm-hmm.
complaints is as a vegetarian, it's so hard to be a vegetarian when in the Philippines. And
Yeah.
I've also read in the Lonely Planet book guidebook that a lot of the writers are saying that if you travel to the Philippines as a vegetarian, it's a struggle. And at first, I didn't understand, but then as I travel more, I realized that indeed is true as a vegetarian traveling. Being at home is a different story. But I'm talking about the uh, when you're traveling in the Philippines. When you
Uh-uh.
don't have a kitchen, it's so difficult here in our country. If you go to, especially travelers, you don't always eat at fancy restaurants when you're traveling because you want to save money. But in the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, you go to a typical restaurant like a karinderya or an eatery, a
Uh,
turo turo. There's
uh-huh.
always a lot of meat options, but the vegetable option is limited, and usually it's already overcooked, and it's
Yeah.
not palatable anymore compared to, for example, in Thailand. They have a lot of vegetarian options, and they have this
Yes, I
dish called
love salad.
pad pak ruam, like stir fried vegetables. It's a very simple dish, but you can always choose that option. And even in China, a lot of vegetarian options as well, especially in Western countries. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the thing about the Philippines. You won't have problems when you're at home. You can cook. Your mom can cook. But in our carinderias or in our restaurants, we're out for like meat-based diet in general. That's what I noticed.
Right. Right. You know T-Bex,
Tibet.
the T-Bex travel bloggers.
Oh no, I don't know.
Oh, oh, the T-Bex that every year, like they go to different countries
Mm-hmm.
for a gathering for travel bloggers.
Mm. Okay, I
T-Bex.
haven't encountered that one yet.
TBEX.
Yeah, I've seen the word, but I
Uh,
haven't been to any of those occasions
okay.
or events.
So 5 or 6 years ago, they held their TBEX conference here, and then we were treated to island hopping, Manila, Cebu, and Dumaguete. and I was with American people, and then there were five ladies from India who are vegetarians. And then it's so funny because even before the trip, you would say that, I'm a vegetarian, blah 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 blah. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I feel so pity to them because they were only eating chop suey and then some, the veggies and all that stuff. And then for the last day, there was one woman there that, please, it's our last day. Can you make our day memorable? Please stop serving a salad. Yeah, I just remember that. But I think it's easier now. Maybe if there's another tea bags, it's been 5 or 7 years. Lately, I would say that because of the hype of veganism of vegetarianism, I think it's a little better now.
I agree, especially in major tourist destinations. They have
Mm,
this vegetarian or vegan restaurants already, but the struggle is those are more expensive in general compared to the normal carinderia or eateries that we
yeah,
have.
but
And
don't you know? There's already a vegan carinderia now in Taguig, and
mm,
I can't wait to check it out. Whatever that you see in a typical carinderia, they have a vegan version to that, and I'm just so happy. It's one of the reasons as well that I want to go back. It's Riri's carinderia. Go, wow. Mhm.
that's great. That's great. And I was reminded of India because you've mentioned these travelers from India, and I think it's one of the countries. If you're a vegetarian, it's one of the countries that you must visit because
Yes, yes,
a lot of the locals are vegetarian in nature. Like
right. And
I
on,
mean they're naturally vegetarian, practicing
mhm.
vegetarianism. So the abundance of vegetarian restaurants and the abundance of different cuisines and different kinds of meals is amazing and it's so delicious. So to all vegetarians out there, I think you should put India on your bucket list.
Yes, yes, it's on my bucket list. But I also joined. I remember this a tourist destination somewhere in Laguna.
Mm-hmm.
They just posted on Facebook. There's a lady said, "Okay, we're promoting a wellness destination." So when we got there, it's me, and then I brought my two sisters. We went to a very big place, and it's like out of the way. There's a lot of trees, and then it has the main gate is very big, and then the Buddhism, or the elephants with
Mm.
faces and all that
Yes,
stuff
yes.
greeted us, right? So I said, "Oh my God, what's this?" Because they said it's a wellness destination. Okay, so we went there, and then once inside, all the Filipinos are wearing Indian food. Oh, Indian food, Indian clothing. The women are wearing sari. Is it sari?
Mm.
And then
Sorry, yeah.
the Filipino guys are wearing the Indian clothing from men. What's this? Is there a, what do you call that, an occasion or something? And then I realized that it's not, they are promoting the place as wellness destination, but uh they actually belong to a religion that came from India. That's why they're wearing every day, or in special occasions. I think every day, maybe. And they're vegetarian. Yeah, I just realized that's in um somewhere in Laguna, Alaminos.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Mm.
I'd love to go back there.
Yeah. And if you go to restaurants in India, there's always a vegetarian and non-vegetarian option.
Mhm.
And in some restaurants, there's only vegetarian option. Like that's how
Yeah.
popular vegetarianism is. It's mainly because of their religion as well.
Mhm. You know what? If I have time, and if I have access to politicians or whatsoever, like, require every restaurant, not require, but tell them that for every typical restaurant, like, add one or two or three on their menu plant-based food. It will not hurt.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
they cannot convert every restaurant to vegan or vegetarian, at least add one or two, right?
Yeah. And one of the tips as well that I can suggest when traveling is, for example, yeah, not all travelers can afford to eat at a fancy vegan restaurant, for example. But that's the ideal, of course.
Mhm.
And I think one of the ways that you can go around it is to go to a grocery,
Yeah.
and buy some food that
Mhm.
is plant based.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what a lot of people do as well to save money when traveling, especially in expensive countries. Instead of eating at restaurants, they go to grocery
Mhm.
stores and buy food. And by that,
And but
you have the choice, and you can choose what food you want.
uh
So in your case, in our case, it's plant based. So go to a grocery. That's one of
uh
the options as well when traveling.
and by the way, it's not always all plant-based diet or vegan or vegetarian are not always healthy in nature. There are vegan donuts. There are instant noodles that are vegetarian,
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
There are
exactly.
frozen food, vegetarian or vegan sausages. They're all processed.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that healthy, right? Like the burger thing. I would say the healthiest kind of food is the raw food. You know, like if it's mushroom, it's the mushroom, not the mushroom chips. But we don't like the mushroom. We eat the mushroom chip.
Mm.
So better than nothing, as they say.
Yeah, yeah. I think ideally natural or even raw food is a lot better. But sometimes when you're on the road and you don't have much option, so I think some people
Yeah.
would just go to these lesser evil. It's not
Yeah.
meat, but at the same time it's processed, vegetable or something.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but sometimes when you're on the road and you don't have any choice, sometimes
Right.
that will do.
There's chicheria, manghuan. It's
Yeah,
a vegetarian.
or even
Right.
the, or
So
even the
chicheria.
vegetarian noodles
Very
on
salty.
Cebu Pacific, the like the Korean vegetarian noodles
Oh,
on
diba?
like
The
like they're not the healthiest, but
mm,
if you don't have any choice, then I think
yeah.
those will do, as a vegetarian.
Yeah.
So one of your advocacy on your blog is, or even on your Facebook page, is to go to a lot of vegetarian restaurants in the Philippines and promote them as part of your
Hmm.
conviction and advocacy. So what are some of your favorite vegetarian restaurants?
Okay. Um, my first is the iVegan restaurant along Greenbelt. It's the fine dining kind of, you know. Um, I my first visit there was a partnership with them, and I like it. It's the um, you would not think that a vegan restaurant can be that posh. I mean,
Wow.
you know, diba? They have private dining. They have everything there, and it's the social food. You know,
Mm.
it's a social food, and I like the chickpea moussaka. It's in the sushi. I'm not really particular in their food. I mean, I haven't I cannot remember what I ate, but the best that I've eaten are the chickpea and lentil moussaka, quinoa sushi. I have a blog about it. I even during the pandemic that I'm not able to go out, I was secretly ordering from them. I don't want them to know that it's me because oh my god, mom, I will just give you discount because you featured us, but not no. But I was secretly ordering their food. Yeah. Also, what else? I have here because um since I got into plant based diet, I got crazy about hummus and tahini sauce. Hummus and tahini. I've never been to Mediterranean countries,
Mediterranean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I do not know if it's the I'm eating the what do you call this
Authentic.
the authentic.
Yeah.
But man, they drive me crazy. I want to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything with hummus. I do not know why. And Beiruti Food Express in Market is like less than 50. But the thing is, they include naan bread. I don't care about the naan bread. I care about the hummus. So yeah, Beiruti Food Express in Market, Hummus Elijah in SMBGC, Noor, Manila. It's in somewhere in the Forbes Park, but it's a little bit mahal. Dean and Deluca. Even my birthday, not
Mm-hmm.
last year or last year, I ordered hummus. It's a posh kind of hummus in Dean and Deluca with white wine, falafel, of course, Army Navy, veggie burrito, Cosmic Makati. You have to go to Cosmic Makati. If you're transitioning, they say the first restaurant that you have to visit, a vegan restaurant, is in Cosmic Makati because
Okay.
they have vegan version of the kare-kare, sisig, pagnet, most of the Filipino food. You know, I remember I was eating there and said, "Oh wow, I can't even differentiate the real kare-kare and then the ano and then all that stuff." And then I was with other foreigners, and then you know what they said? Oh my God, Filipinos, even though it's still veganized, it's still oily, it's still deep fried.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but you have to go to Cosmic. Also, Lartisan and Pante Manila for vegan bread. Oh my. And recently, because I'm here in the province, so I would always go to Legazpi City. It's where the airport is here
Mm-hmm.
in Bicol.
Yeah.
I went to Starbucks to try their plant-based food, but 3 out of 5 of the plant-based food are not available. I think no one is ordering.
It's out of
So,
stock.
oo nga, yeah, isn't it Starbucks? So, in my second visit, because I tried, it's not so good. Maybe because it's been like 2 or 3 days. The last kind of pasta that they have. I kept on walking and then I went to Kenny Rogers. I said, oh my god, what are you? And then I saw the banner for their famous side dishes,
Mm-hmm.
and 9 or 10 out of the 13 side dishes that they have are accidentally plant based. So I was so happy. You know the side dishes of Kenny Rogers,
I love
like
those.
the
I love
boiled,
those.
the mashed,
Boy, like
the
baby
coleslaw and all that.
corn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love
right.
those.
Sometimes you just have to know how to get around, how to
Yeah,
how to be resourceful,
that's true.
right? So yeah, and Mediterranean and the Indian food, yeah, like you said, you'll never go wrong when you go there. They always have plant-based food.
Wow, interesting restaurants. And for our listeners, I'm gonna put the link in the description box on my YouTube channel as well, like the links to these restaurants that
Mhm.
Rona mentioned.
If you
So
want, because I really love iVegan, we can do a giveaway. I can I can shoulder the first 1,000 bill for anyone who would whatever countries you want for someone to try iVegan. Like I love iVegan.
wow,
I'm
that's
not sure if they're still
amazing.
around. Yeah,
Where
I
is
think
it
they're still
again?
around. That's in somewhere in Greenbelt.
Wow, great. So that's interesting.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that.
Mm-mm. Ikaw, up to you how you want to choose somebody
Yeah.
for
Let's.
yeah.
I'm gonna think about it. But that's
Mm-mm.
a very amazing offer. So I'm gonna think about how to do this.
Mm-mm.
But I'm gonna post it on my Facebook or on YouTube. So thank you
Mm-mm.
for this.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing restaurants to choose from. And I really like what you're doing. And in fact, I think I'm gonna do it as well. But
Mm-hmm.
in my case, I'm gonna do it on my YouTube channel, like
Mm-hmm.
feature instead of because you write these restaurants on your blog, like written
Mm-hmm.
feature. And I really like what you're doing, and I think I'm gonna do it. But this time, I'm gonna instead of writing, I'm gonna take a video of vegetarian restaurants here in our place because there's quite a few here as well in Valencia, Bukidnon. So I'm gonna
Oh,
start doing that as
wow.
well. So
You know, good for you. You know what? Here in Sorsogon, in our province, there's only one vegan restaurant owned by the Seventh Day Adventists, right? You know, Seventh Day Adventists. They are vegan by faith.
yeah, I am a 7 Day Adventist.
Oh wow! And you know what? They closed.
Oh,
Oh really?
I'm a 7 Day Adventist,
Oh,
and
you
that's
are.
also one of the main reasons why I practice vegetarianism, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm because that's our denomination encourages people to
Uh-huh.
do that. Yeah. So
If I'm not
that's interesting.
mistaken, the oldest woman in the world or in the Philippines is 70 Adventist, right? And she's vegetarian. That's
Uh,
something that I've.
I didn't know about that, but there was a research done by the National Geographic before of regions in the world that has
Mm-hmm,
the highest number of centenarians, like people who lived
mm-mm,
up to 100. And there are five regions. They call it the Blue Zone. So
yeah.
Okinawa, Japan, somewhere in Costa Rica, in Sardinia, Italy, in somewhere in Greece. It's some in Greece. I forgot the exact place. And the other one is in Loma Linda, California. And
Mm-hmm,
that community is a Seventh Adventist community. And one of the
mm-hmm.
reasons they say why the people there live long is because of having a vegetarian diet. So they have lots of centenarians, like people who live up to 100.
Mm-hmm. It's so good in your area, but here, like I said, they closed the one and only vegan restaurant that they closed because nobody's eating, and they are renting a spot that's like 8,000 or 10,000 per month. So how would
Hmm.
they pay the 10,000 and plus the staff and
Right,
operating
right.
expenses?
I understand. Yeah, a lot of our institutions, the seven institutions, they have cafeterias. We have cafeteria, and they serve vegetarian diet in our cafeterias, like hospitals and schools. What is your ideal travel destination in terms of wellness travel? Because obviously you're not just into the diet part, but wellness as a whole, like living a holistically healthy life, not just the diet
Uh-huh.
part. So any, travel destinations in terms of wellness, it's becoming popular these days.
Mm, okay. Well, in reality, wellness travel is, is a bit on the high end side,
Right.
right? So
I know, I
I
know.
wish right now it make it affordable, please, because everyone works hard. Whether you're earning 1 million a month or 10,000 or 20,000 a month, you still have, you know, you get tired. You need some R&R. So I hope talaga. I hope that it became first and foremost affordable to everyone. My favorites, I love going back over and over to Nurture Wellness Spa Village in Tagaytay. I love it. Have you been there? It's one of the most I it's always listed in the internationally spa, you know, for wellness, wellness, massage and plant-based food. Mandala Spa in Boracay, we collaborated when I and my and group of bloggers went there, and I was working with hostel. We were able to collab with Mandala Spa. My God, it's beautiful, Mandala Spa. Wow, beautiful. I wish I can go there every day in Mandala Spa. Of course, Chida Spa in EDSA Shangri-La and Chida Spa in Mactan. I love also their massage room. Alam mo yun, parang the 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 bathroom is already the size of my room.
Wow.
And if I'm gonna pay for that, those are all X deals. It's like 10,000. Like, would you pay a 2 hour, 3 hour bath and massage for 10,000? So I really wish there's like an affordable for that. Affordable. You know, I've been recently. I've been very curious about what's going on in El Nido right now, especially the Bahay Kalipay Retreat Center. It's also a wellness destination. I mean, I've been to Coron, I've been to El Nido, I've been to Puerto Princesa, but I want to go back to Palawan for yoga retreats, and I've but I want something that I would stay for a month, you know, for a few weeks. I don't want to go back to that backpacking style, like, is it the cheapest travel? Like, I would wake up at 3 a.m. to catch the sunset, and then I will do all of the all of the touristy stuff, and then I will sleep at 1 a.m. and then tomorrow I will wake up at 3 a.m. So I don't do that. I wanna do the short but long travels now. So Palawan. as well. But it has to be my dog because I'm a proud dog mom. I don't know how he's actually here. So I want to travel with my dog talaga in El Nido and other parts of the country. And if ever if I have a big capital, I would like to start a business that is, something like that, but it's affordable people. And have you heard about the farm? It's
Yes,
also one
yes.
of my, oh my god, but it's celebrity.
It's it's yeah. That's the thing.
It's like 50,000 for
I
overnight.
know.
My God,
I know.
that's
It's.
diba?
I don't think it's
Why not,
practical.
diba? Why not we do that for the masa naman?
Mm,
But the
right.
quality is there and everything. Yeah.
When I was in Thailand, there are lots of wellness resorts there that are a lot cheaper than we have here in the Philippines. So one of the things about I love about Thailand is the presence of these. And I agree that you've mentioned that these are very vital to our well-being, but they're a lot of them are expensive. So to
Mm-hmm.
our listeners right there, if ever you know a cheap, not cheap, an inexpensive wellness resort or destination, you can comment them. You can write them in the comment section below on if you're watching this on YouTube.
Uh, yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
actually, yeah. If if the universe will give me like multi-million peso, there's this resort here because you know what? In our province, we don't have beaches. Like we are a we are a land. We
landlock.
are surrounded by mountains. Yeah.
Mm, okay.
What we have are we have hot springs, and then there's this resort that they are selling it, and then it's it it's situated in a hot with hot springs, natural hot springs,
Hmm.
but they're selling it for 50 million. Yeah, and you know what? I think, and then they're saying that because the governor here is Chief Escudero,
Mm-hmm.
and his first lady is Heart Evangelista. That's why Sorsogon became popular because of Heart. They were saying that maybe Heart is buying it and all that, but I don't think so because Heart just opened one in Boracay. So I want to buy that if I have chance and turn it to a wellness destination. It's so nice to 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 bath in a hot spring. Very 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 relaxing. Compared to like the one that I've done in Antique in a kawa.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, I've done that
Oh, you've
also,
done
but it's
that. That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool though.
I've
And it
done
has
that
some
before.
herbs as well, right? In the kawa.
Uh
So I
huh.
think that will help in
Yeah,
with
and I
with the health.
realized those flowers are only for picture purposes. They don't have any value aside
Oh,
from that. It's the leaves. Because
oh,
my
I
God,
didn't.
wow,
Oh, I didn't know that.
it's the leaves, the aroma of the leaves. Yeah, because we
Mm.
went there. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Because
yeah, that's it.
when I was in Laos, they have these very inexpensive steam rooms in
Uh huh.
this was in Vang Vieng. So there are steam rooms, and when I was there, I befriended a fellow backpacker. She's from Japan, and
Mm-hmm.
I asked her, "What are your plans for today?" And she said, "I'm going to this. I'm not sure. Yeah, steam room, not a sauna, but a steam room, and you come with me." So she invited me to go there, and I was able to experience these very inexpensive steam rooms. They're quite common in Vang Vieng, Laos, and they put a lot of herbs, not just steam, but like different kinds of plants in there as well that helps in your circulation and all that stuff. Kind of like aroma, it helps your senses
Mm-hmm.
or helps
Mm-hmm.
your mood. So I tried it, and I really experienced a positive feeling because of those herbs. So I thought that
Yeah.
is the same when they put those herbs in that kawa, but you've mentioned that it's a lot of them are just for decoration.
The flowers, the flowers.
Oh, the flowers.
It's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
the greens, and I want these kind of activities to be to be accessed by
Accessible.
everybody, not just
Yeah.
to a tourist,
Right, right.
because it's part of self love, self care, and we're happy people, and I think we would be more productive if we care for
Mm.
ourselves, we care for you know something like that.
I agree. I totally agree, and that's a really good advocacy
Di
of
ba?
yours and
Mhm.
conviction. On the
Even
other
the
hand,
peeling,
yeah,
even sorry, the pili, right? Um, we only have Sorsogon is has lots of pili, right? It's always known as just pasalubong, right? Like when you go to Bicol, oh yeah, bring me some pili and all that stuff. Then I realized it's it's a superfood, and it's packed with a lot of whatever like name all the beautiful, beautiful thing about that food. You know what? My advocacy is make that pili a pantry essential. Like think about Filipinos would like get it not because to enjoy the as a pili candy as pasalubong. It should be a pantry essential. Like anytime you want pili, you get from your cabinet, you have get from your pantry, right? So that's also one of my advocacy here in Bicol right now. So I even I'm even planning to like get all the information of the small pili owners here and maybe market so that also the restaurants in Manila would be able to add pili nuts in their maybe in some of their cuisine in their food. Yeah, that's
and in,
it,
in
I guess.
doing in doing that as well, you're not just promoting health and wellness, but at the same time, you're helping local farmers, local
Yeah.
producers
That's
in your
right.
region. That's just a really great advocacy because I've spoke to one of these coffee shop owner in Polomolok, South Cotabato, and I asked him
Mm-hmm.
why did he put up a coffee shop, and he said that one of his advocacy is to help the local farmers because he said we are having a we have we have really good coffee here in the Philippines that can equal good producing coffee in other countries. So, but they're not known. They're not known, and one of his advocacy is to promote that, and in doing that, he's helping the local farmers as well. So
Right.
I
And
I was just reminded of that guy when you mentioned that that's one of your advocacy, and that's a really good advocacy.
imagine it's like the 1 kilo of pili here is only 8 pesos.
Wow,
8 pesos. And you can make
that's
even pili milk. So now I don't buy any oat milk anymore because there's pili milk, right? And like I said, we have to promote it to other parts of the country as much as pasalubong because it's gonna die. It should be if you want some. It should be a pantry essential na lang, diba? It's
wow.
very so
When you
famous,
when you mentioned the price, that's really wow, amazing because
right?
I'm into nuts as well, especially when I was living in China. Nuts there are so available and so
Mm-hmm.
inexpensive, cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the Philippines, they're expensive. Imagine buying almonds and cashew nuts; they're expensive. But you've mentioned what was that? Eight pesos. You mentioned
Eight
eight pesos.
eight pesos, yeah. Because my mom has a small store here. That's why I have a lot of photos of fruits and vegetables
Yeah,
at the same
I've
time
seen
because we
those.
are selling. So what?
Mm.
8 pesos? And you know what? The pili tree it takes 5 or 6 years muna before they bear they bear what do you call that, the pili nuts, what,
Mm.
yeah.
Is it a fruit or the
Imagine like
seed?
you waited,
Yeah.
yeah, you waited for 6 years and then you would sell it for 8 pesos per kilo, diba? And it's a sustainable pili is a sustainable tree. You know why? You don't have to water them. Just by rain, they will they will no, they will they will grow without any further maintenance. Pili is a sustainable tree.
And you've mentioned sustainability as well. That's also one of your focus on your travels. So what do you think are the ways that we can have a sustainable travel?
Yeah. You know what? I didn't know about this. You know, uh, I just realized that everything is interconnected. When you're on sustainability, you're also on plant-based diet, right? Because, like I said, it takes a lot of water, energy, whatever human resources to grow or, I mean, to raise livestock animals, right? But for mushroom, like, why would you make beef burger? Pwede naman mushroom burger. And
Right.
if it's a really good kind of burger, you will really not taste the difference unless you are unless you're a perfectionist, or unless, diba? Like, why would you, diba? I think here nga, oh, meron ako, I'd like to read this. I'm not really into, I do not know about I do not memorize the figures, but it says here, according to the vegan calculator, adopting a plant-based diet can save 401,000 gallons of water, 10,950 square feet of forest, 7,300 pounds of carbon emissions per person per year. Blah, blah. Diba? Imagine. And ang dami pa eh. Like, the meat and dairy industry takes up 83% of all farmland and is responsible for 60% of the agricultural industry's 13.7 billion tons of yearly greenhouse gas emissions. Right? And we don't need to be vegans or vegetarians. Baka naman in one month, for one, like, we can have meatless Mondays man
Yeah,
lang,
yeah,
right?
yeah. For those who don't want to really dive into that, like that's a good
Mm-mm.
suggestion. Maybe 1 week of having a vegan diet, or
Oo.
like even just like you've said, vegan Mondays. That's a
Oo.
really good idea.
Sustainability. Actually, travel, you cannot make travel sustainable 100%, right? But you can, lessen it na lang,
Listen, right?
right? So, for me, yeah, I'll buy, uh, patronize the local products for sure.
Exactly, exactly. I totally agree.
That's
Like the local produce, they are more inexpensive and they're
mhm.
more fresh and they cost less.
Mhm. You know what? When I was in BGC, I would buy frozen blueberries and raspberries and peaches, all coming from Taiwan. No, no, China.
Hmm.
When I was in BGC,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden I was showing my friends, it's my first time to, I can now know, I can now, I now know the taste of blueberry, of the real blueberry, not coming from a blueberry pancake or blueberry waffle. I said, Rona, you're getting your plant-based diet wrong. It came from the other part of the world. You know how much emission it came from. Just
The
buy your,
cargo, yeah,
diba?
the
Just
effects
buy your
of
food.
preservation, cargo, the travel
Mhm.
time. Yeah,
So I did it once lang, but I'm happy I now know the 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 taste of blueberry and raspberry. Yun. So
it's funny that you mentioned that because I was living in China for 5 years,
mm,
5.5, and
mm,
those fruit that you've mentioned, they are
mm.
the cheaper option when you're in China. Like
Uh-huh.
they grow them there. So especially in the summer where they're seasonal fruits, so usually they're available in the summer. Abundance of, like you mentioned, blueberries, blackberries, strawberry, and they're so
Uh-uh.
sweet and huge, and they're the cheaper option. And what when I was there, because I miss mango and I really miss bananas, but I miss mango, so I would always buy mango from, I think, from South America or even the Philippines, and they're more expensive, a lot more expensive than these blueberries and
It's different.
pomegranate and peaches, pears. So it's like the opposite, and and
Oo,
I
'di ba?
and I was like, wow, these are expensive mangoes, but I still buy them just because I miss them and they're so delicious. But then the fruit that you've mentioned, they are the cheaper ones when you're in China. So it's like the opposite.
Mm. I think from time to time, yeah. Once, twice, you know, it's really hard to be perfect and sustainable. So, just have to do your thing. My work really inspired me to do this sustainable thing. Talaga. Like, my God, if we really need we really need to do something about the plastic pollution. That's what I can think of.
How about when on the road? What are your tips in terms of wellness or how to be
Oh.
healthy on the road, not just the diet part of it?
Mhm. Um.
Because
Over the years,
yeah,
yes.
Like when
Yeah,
traveling, what I was about to say was when we're traveling, sometimes we compromise our health, especially as sleep
oh,
is compromised and a lot of stuff. Like we compromise a lot of stuff because of
oh.
in terms of our health. So any tips
Mm.
on how to still maintain a healthy lifestyle when on the road?
Ah, okay. I think I've mentioned this, but yeah, I'm no longer doing the cheap backpacking thing. Just have to travel whatever it takes, just for the heck of it. You know, like slower but longer travels, but meaningful. Yun na lang talaga. And I think I'm too old naman to stay in hostels. I want a comfortable room that I'm with myself and I'm able to talk to the locals, not with other party crazy backpacker. And wellness, yeah, longer travel, more meaningful, and as much as possible, you spend your time with locals and not with other fellow backpackers. Talaga. I always have this app called Insight Timer, and for meditation. I don't know why. I'm not an expert in meditation, but when I started meditate, when I started doing even very basic meditation, I feel like I'm content now. Because before I'm travel crazy. Like I'm only happy if I, like you, circumnavigate the world. You know, parang every day I get so sad seeing everybody's going to this different and I'm not, right. But with meditation, I I'm able to bridge the gap of the reality and the future, and I'm happier. I think what's important is your feeling. It's not actually going there, and you can have the same feeling of happiness, just the same as when you're there or not, or just feeling it. It's the same lang naman talaga. Yun. So meditation, Laila. And I have this portable, what's that? For smoothie. I always have that.
What was
When
that? What was that?
smoothie. Oh no,
Oh,
blender.
a blender, man. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I love
great, great,
smoothie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just recently I stopped doing smoothie because it broke because I was
Mm.
using it every day.
Okay.
Yun lang. Slow
It's
travel.
it's funny that you mentioned about backpacking because I was my close friends know this. I always tell them that I'm no longer a backpacker, but I
Mhm.
enjoyed my time as a backpacker
Yeah,
and I think I'm done with
definitely.
it and I'm not doing it again. And I told them the reason. I told them I'm not gonna I'm not gonna exchange sleep over a few dollars. So
Mhm.
or not because when you're backpacking, you're sleeping in hostels like dormitory
Yeah.
hostels and you're saving money and you're having this
Uh,
experience. But nowadays, like you mentioned, we're getting older. So I told my friends I'm not doing backpacking anymore because I don't want to exchange my sleep. I prioritize my sleep more compared to just saving a
yeah.
few cents or a few dollars.
Right.
And not just hostels, but even trains. For example, in China, they have hard sleeper and soft sleeper. So I always
Mhm.
opt for the soft sleeper where there are a few people in the compartment compared to a hard sleeper where there are lots of people. And of course
Mhm.
it's cheaper, but at the same time, like I always what I was always telling them was that I prioritize my sleep more than saving a few dollars or a few
Mhm.
cents. And a backpacker lifestyle is like what you've mentioned, go to as many spots as possible, wake up early, catch the cheapest flight, be cramped in a budget airline or the cheapest train. Those are adventurous activities, and I have nothing against those. But like what you've said, we're now older, so I think I'm done with
Uh-uh.
those. And I also spoke to one of the former backpackers, on this podcast, Lindsay Cabildo, and
Mhm.
she also mentioned that she's not gonna do dorms anymore as well. Like,
Mm.
I think when we're getting older, like our preferences changes, our preferences
Uh-uh.
change, and that's one of those. And it's interesting and funny that you've mentioned about the backpacker lifestyle.
You know what's worse? Because I've also I went on a group with I went with ladies in for Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and then there's this lady. She's very popular until at this moment. It was an all girl trip, right? We said all girl trip, and then last minute she brought her boyfriend. And when we were in Thailand, they have their own itinerary, and then they were like going to this different spots and all that stuff, and they have beautiful photos. But you know what? We know that they did not enjoy. They were cramming. They want to go to different spots, take very beautiful photos that they're relaxing, but actually they're not because they just wanted to tell to the world that the clickbait article like 3 days, 4 nights, three countries. Oh my god, something like that. I just remember that, but yeah, she's so popular until now, but I just can't do that. The 3 countries, 3 nights kind of thing.
It's interesting that some of the podcast episodes that I'm doing is kind of like connected because prior to this, I was talking to James Betia of Journeying James, and we're talking about social media because he
Hmm.
already quit social media. And
Yeah,
and
is it true? Like 100%?
what do you
How is
mean?
he able to do that?
No,
Like he's really not.
he's still maintaining the business account
Uh,
of, I mean, his business, his products has a social media account still, but
uh,
the personal account, his personal Facebook, he's not doing it anymore. He's not posting for 3 years already. He's
uh,
not there. And yeah, we've talked about how social media is getting in the way of experiencing things, and a lot of them are actually fake. Like you mentioned, when you see the pictures, like wow, they're having a great time, but
diba?
actually they are cramped in that location and
They're
all that stuff. So
they're
it's
too
kind of
busy
fake. So
taking photos.
busy
They're
taking
faking the.
photos. So it's like these podcast episodes are kind of connected with each other. So that's interesting.
I mean, I've been there than that also. In the younger, young in previous trips, but it all boils down to your happiness is your choice. You don't need validation from other people. Like you don't need to wait for 1,000 likes to be happy, right? You don't need for a partner to be whole, something like that. In meditation like that, it's you. You are the source of happiness. You you are already good and worthy and all that stuff. Don't need, you know. I'm getting a little bit,
Wow,
that's why it's
it's a
really.
really interesting topic, and it's a topic close to my heart as well, health and wellness and
Mm-mm.
plant-based diet. So I'm really glad that we did this, and I've learned something from you, Rona, and thank you so much for sharing your time and your thoughts on this, and for you just being here on the podcast. Thank you once again. And before we end, do you have any final messages to our listeners regarding plant-based diet or wellness as a whole, and especially for
Ah.
those who want to embrace this as well but don't know where to start?
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Um, when I decided to do plant-based diet, like no one really pushed me. Like no one ever cared from my family, from my friends, from my with my former boyfriend. No one cared. So I did it for myself. Like Rona, you're so payat. Why would you do that? Like this is my body. This is my choice, right? I'll do whatever the heck I want because this is my choice. What's important is this is what makes me happy. And there's there's really no first step or second step. You just figure it out. Just figure it out. You just figure it out, and you will encounter people who would be against your ideas. Just be nice to them, and you don't have to argue. For those who do not believe, you don't have to argue, right? That's it. Just do your thing without hurting other people, and then that's fine. What's important is you're happy na lang. That's what matters. Yan lang.
All right. Thank you. Thank you once again for being on the podcast and for accepting my invitation. Once again, to our dear listeners, Maria Rona Beltran, and her website is Travel and Wellness with Maria. Thank you for tuning in till the next episode.
Thank you. Thank you more.